Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do this beautiful blanket. Now this beautiful stitch is a shell and a fan. It doesn't look like 2 rows, but that is exactly what it is. When you do these foundation rows, I'll show you how to do the chain. Do that on your chain and then do your fans, and then it's only a 2-row repeat. You've got a shell with a chain of 5 and your second row is a fan. Now both the shell going down and up is 6 stitches and the fan is 6 stitches. Make sure you put 6 stitches in the fan, because if you don't, you won't have enough stitches to go down and up these fans to make that pretty shell. Use any yarn you want. Use the hook size it tells you on the label. You can do it all one colour, or I will show you in the video how to change the colours. I done my 2 rows, each 2 rows in a different colour, then I repeated it all again to make this really pretty little blanket. This is beautiful if you want to make it to throw over a chair or over the back of a sofa as well. It's really pretty. The chain is a chain of 5, so that's easy enough to remember. When you make your foundation chain, you'll do it in sets of 6 plus an extra 3 stitches, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So come along with me and we'll make this pretty blanket. So to do this pattern, you're going to do sets of 6 stitches and add 3 at the end. So it's sets of 6 and then an extra 3 chains at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to do an extra 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3. Now into the 4th stitch along, count 1, 2, 3 and 4. Into the 4th stitch, that's going to be your first stitch of your cluster. We're going to put another 5 stitches in there. The cluster has 6 UK treble crochets. That's 6 USA double crochets. If you're in the USA, that's double crochets. So that chain of 3 counts as your first stitch. So into the 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to put 5 more stitches in to create a fan. So that's 1. So that chain counts as 1, and that is your second one. So that one's 3, 4, 5 and 6. You're going to skip 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now remember, that might have stretched your next stitch, so make sure that you pull it over and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into number 6 you're going to put another fan. 6 stitches. 1, all into the same stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and do another fan. Do that all the way along to the end. So you should have 6 stitches left in your chain. Once you've done your last fan, you should have 6 stitches left. If you don't, you can use the tail to add a few extra stitches in. And if you've got too many, then just pick them out. Because sometimes when you've done 6 stitches into one, it squashes a stitch and you might not have counted it. So once you've got your last fan done, just count your last 6 stitches. You're going to skip 5 and you're going to put a fan in that last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you do 6 in each fan. 6. Now what I'm going to do a UK double crochet. That's a single crochet if you're in the USA, into that little space there, into that space. Now we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Now that little stitch we did is our first, that makes 3, so that little stitch and then 2 chain. Now you're going to go into these chains. We're going to make a fan. So these have got 5 stitches, so we're going to skip 2 stitches, and into the middle of that chain we're going to build a fan again. 6 stitches into the middle stitch. So count 1 and 2. It should be the middle of your chain. Into the stitch, put 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're going to jump over to the next chain, skip this fan, and into the middle, count 1, 2 and into the 3rd stitch, that's the middle of a chain, do another fan of 6 stitches. Do that all the way along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now you can see we're working in the chains that we skipped of our foundation. So into the next chain, do that all the way along into the middle of the chain, put 6 stitches. Make sure you do 6. Make sure you do 6 stitches into each fan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at the end, we're going to go into that first space here of this fan, into this little last space, sorry. You're going to do a UK treble crochet. If you're in the USA, this is a double crochet into that space and pull through your 2 loops. Now, if you want to continue just in the one colour, then you don't need to cut or change your yarn. If you want to change your yarn, you're going to cut your yarn and bring in your next colour. Leave a long enough tail to sew in and pull it through those 2 loops. Now I'm going to take those 2 tails and just twist them over the top of my working yarn. Pull them in tight and do a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. That's your first stitch of the half fan we need to start. We're going to do this part of the pattern. We're going to do this part. We're going to do this part here. We've done this part. This is what we've done so far, is these. So we're going to do the upside down fan and chains of 5. So that's my first stitch. Now turn around. So into the next 3 stitches of the fan, count 1, 2 and 3. And you'll have 3 left. 1, 2, 3. We're going to keep the stitch on the hook. We're going to go into the next stitch. Not that one there. That belongs to that blue one. So into there. So that chain is your first stitch. That's your second one. Keep it on the hook. Go into the next one. Keep it on the hook. So we've got 3. 1, 2 and 3. So that's your chain of 3. Counts as your first stitch. So 1, 2 and 1 more. Makes 3. Pull through all of those loops and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be the chain for your next fans. Now you're going to collect 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're going to do a full fan of 6. That's just a half one to keep the edge nice and straight. So yarn over into the next stitch and keep it on the hook. That's 1, 2, into the next one, 3, into the next one, that's 4, and the next, that's 5, and the next one is 6. So we've got 6 stitches, but you should have 7 loops on your hook, because that loop there belongs to the chain. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 stitches. Pull through all of those loops and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 2 rows you're going to keep repeating. So this upside down fan with the chains, and the next row it'll just be fans. Your next row it'll be a fan in the middle of the chain. So we'll do 6 along. That's why you've got to make sure you've got 6 stitches in your fan. So collect along 6 stitches. 1, keep it on the hook. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1 more makes 6. Pull through all those loops and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Collect 6. 1, 2, keep them on your hook. 3, 4, 5 and 6. Pull through them all and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And work along to the end. And what you get on the other side is you've got that pretty shell. It looks like a little seashell on that side. Now I've done my last chain. Try not to do your chains too tight. Now we should have 4 stitches left. 1, 2, 3 of the fan plus the top of that chain of 3 there. That makes 4. We're going to do a half a fan. And you only do the half a fan when you're doing these shells. 1, pick up 2, that one's 3, and into the top of that chain of 3 there. Push your hook through. Pull through all your loops. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3 and turn. So we've got our foundation one done, and these are the 2 rows you're going to repeat all the time now. So you've got that shell made there. Now we're going to do a fan. We're going to go into the middle of the chain, so count 1, 2 and into the middle stitch of the chain. We're going to do that 6 stitch fan. So put 6 stitches. 1, don't collect them this time, just do that as a fan. That's a shell and this is a fan. So that's a shell and that's a fan. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Remember, 6. We're going to go in to the middle of the chain again. So you'll be skipping 2 stitches of the chain and in, there's no chains in between. So into the middle of the chain and do your fan of 6 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5 and 6. So that's your fan made. So you can see the difference. That's a shell, looks like a shell, and that's a fan. Move over to the next chain and in the middle of a chain do a fan. Move to the next chain. In the middle, do a fan all the way along. You'll do a fan into the middle of that last chain, and then into the end here we'll do 1 UK treble crochet. That's a double crochet if you're in the USA. I'll show you that when we get to it. So put 1 fan into the middle of each chain. And remember, and do 6 stitches. So this is what it's looking like just now. So I've done my last fan. Now in to the top of that chain of 3, I'm going to put a treble crochet. This is a double crochet. If you're in the USA, go into the stitch, not the space, into the stitch. Pull through, and I've got 2 loops. Now what I'm going to do is, you can cut your yarn if you're going to do another different colour. I'm just going to go back to that pink. I'm going to leave that this time. So just to show you what to do, if you're going to join another colour, pull it through those last 2 stitches. I'm going to wrap it around, just wrap my tail around, and I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going back to the shell pattern. We'll turn around. You can just keep that there. When you do the next 2 rows of blue, I'll just pull my blue up like that. You can put a border in. What you can do for your border is in each of these spaces you can put a fan in, just up the sides, or you can cut it. You can just cut your yarn and you can sew in your ends, or you can do it all one colour. It's up to you. So that chain of 3 is my first stitch, and as we've done here we need 4, so that's 1. So go into the next stitch, and we're doing the shell, so we're going to keep the stitch on the hook this time. So that's 1 and 2. Into the next one is 3, and into the next one is 4. When we do the shell at the beginning and at the end, you've only got 4 stitches. Pull through. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't do it too tight. Now we're going to pick up 6 stitches along, just like we did down here with the blue. So 1, keep it on the hook. 2, keep it on the hook, and along 3, and we'll take 3 from this side of this fan. So that one makes 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over, pull through all the loops and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A loose chain. Pick up 6, chain 5. Pick up 6, chain 5. Pick up 6, chain 5, all the way to the end. So I'm on my last chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to pick up my last 4 stitches, and that just makes a half a shell. 1, 2, 3, and 1 into the top of that chain makes 4. Pull through, and you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn. So now you're going to do, you've got your row 1, so you've got this start of the foundation, then it's row 1, row 2, row 1, row 2. So row 2 is your sets of 6 fan, and we're going to do the fan. So we've done the shell, now we're going to do the fan. So into the 3rd stitch in that 5 chain, into the middle of the chain, do your fan. That's 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, into the same stitch, 4, 5, and 6. Now go over to the middle of the next chain and do another fan. So I've done my last fan, and I'm going to do a treble crochet into the top of that chain there. And I'm going to go back to my blue. So you'll put your next colour on, whatever colour you're choosing. I'm going to wind both the tails around my working yarn. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. And you'll go back to doing the shell. So this pattern has shells and fans like this. You make your shell out of 1/2 of this fan and 1/2 of that fan, and this is what you'll get. You'll get this really pretty blanket. Turn it round the way. As you can see, I've used several different colours. So the pattern is 2 rows. You do that base one the way I've showed you. Then you'll do a shell and a chain of 5, a shell, a chain of 5, and your second row is just your fan, and each one is 6 stitches. So your shell is 3 stitches from this side of the fan and 3 from there. You can see it there, the way it's done. Now when you do the shell, that's when you've got you do your chain of 3 and you use the first 3, that makes 4, and the same on the other end, you'll finish with 4. Chain 3 and then do your fan into the chains, just like I've done here. You can finish on the fan row. If you want to do a border, you can put a fan into each of these spaces. Do a fan of 6 and then go over to there and do a fan of 6. Do a fan of 6, a fan of 6, and a fan of 6 in there. Or you can do 4, a half a fan, do 4, chain 2 and another 4 if you want to do another round. That's how you can do the edges. I think the edges are okay like this, especially if you're going to put it over a sofa or a throw. And you'll get this really pretty lacy shells and fans, and it's really pretty. Do it any colour you want, use any yarn you want, and use the hook size it tells you on your label. I used UK double knitting, that's a weight 3. And I used a UK 4.5mm crochet hook. That is a 7.5 in the USA. So until the next time, happy crafting. A big thank you to everyone who's been donating or joining the membership, helping out on the Ko-fi page. I've got the link underneath the video. So please, it is free to subscribe to the channel. So please subscribe to the channel. And if you click on the bell icon, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. And in between, I will put in little updates of how Muttley is getting on as well. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.